Hey everybody, my name is Skulbane. He's gonna introduce himself maybe.
Riddler.
There you go.
And this
is Nerds Anonymous. To begin, we're gonna start with our first campaign with our original cast, if you will. Our primary DM for that was, I'll use his character name for the secondary campaign. His name will be Crixus. He was the DM there. Next we have me, Skulbane, played a halfling female cleric. I was gorgeous. After that we had a half-elf druid.
That was me.
Can't remember his name.
Neither
can he, so that should tell you something. A half-elf ranger, which we all couldn't remember the name of because
it's the same
they just happened to use the same name, in the same class, and the same race.
Looking at you.
Hey, it was a good character.
It was a good character. It was fantastic. So Saoirse is the character there. And then we had who was that? Was he a halfling rogue or was he a human rogue? I feel like he was a human rogue in the first one. Yeah, so
he was a human rogue.
We started off in a tavern, which is fine. You know.
Just so cliche.
It is very cliche. We have us four meeting in a tavern, and then bandits pop in and demand money. And me, my character, being a lawful good, I immediately stand up, all 3 feet of me, and begin to reject this showdown.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of leapt in at different times just because they realized that they had to, otherwise there's no way we were going to group up. We ended up grouping up after that because we had already worked together so long in that tavern.
So we got hired to find the leader of these bandits and all that shit.
I forgot about that.
And then we went to then we went to the fighting pits, which is a whole nother thing because now I understand where you got it from.
Yeah. And the guy who was going to help us out, we had to have somebody fight for him and guarantee his victory so he could get back all his money from his gambling. His name was Scoon. He was dreamy. He was fantastic. My character fell in love with him, and it was the best romance that ever will be.
Still a better love story than Twilight.
That's very true. So much better than Twilight. We then send our dwarven fighter. Oh, I forgot about her. She played one time with us, and that was a dwarven fighter. Went in there, waited in battle, and just destroyed. So it was great. It was easy, but she was the only one doing anything, so we were all bored. We get some information, find out where this guy's hidden, and we spend about 2 hours in real life planning how we're going to assault this mansion.
Yeah.
We were gonna do it just fine. So it was gonna be easy. It was gonna be, just go in, quick assault, storming up from the basement through a
trapdoor.
The druid had to help pull his wolf out of this trapdoor, which was funny because she ended up falling once or twice.
More than that, it was like 3 times.
We get up to the top floor, which is obviously where the big baddie encounter is. There's a guy with a bag over his head, kneeling in front of him, looked roughed up and everything like that. They tear the hood off, and it is Scoon, my beloved. The human rogue is stationed across from there
in a bell tower of
a church of Pavor with his bow ready.
That was a whole nother thing that we had to do, was we had to find out how to get them
there. He proceeds to shoot the guy who is right above Scoon, allowing Scoon to scurry out of the way, saving his life. So then we're fighting this big bad, and he's taking some hits. He's not going down, so I see that there's glass right behind him. The halfling cleric with little strength, negative in strength actually, proceeds to try to push him out the window. Well, I failed on that. Just simplify that.
Yeah, but he got the point across to the rest of us
that we could actually do something.
Yeah, my wolf pounced on him and pushed him out.
Yeah,
we loot as much as we could, and we get out, and we're running out back to this, Scoon's house, so that we have a place to dive down and lay down.
Not be a dick.
Well, try to get over in traffic in Hawaii. Usually they're really nice, but apparently today is not our day.
Long story short, 2 of us get caught. The rest make it back to the place, and so that's another time where 2 of us weren't doing jack shit for a while.
Yep.
We got him out somehow.
I don't remember how that happened. We left the city to go fight
kobolds.
kobolds. So we fought them. They're easy to kill. It wasn't exactly hard.
Yeah.
And then when we came back, we were sent down into the sewers to fight swarms of rats, dire rats, and a giant mutant rat thing created by a Pied Piper character. For some reason, he was able to splice genes and shit. I don't know.
In the sewers, where there was absolutely no lab at all for him. 5 other adventurers storm out of this grate.
It's clear that
he's not putting really.
He's not really trying very hard to create this campaign in all the detail, which is it takes a lot of work. We end up saving the day because we're heroes and we're awesome like that. Pied Piper character was promised 2,000 gold to take care of the rat problem in the sewers. We convinced him with intimidate checks. Okay, easy there. That's all the credit. But he convinced him
because I was the one who talked to him.
He convinced him to give us the gold he was promised. Now the DM thought some other arrangement had occurred apparently, but we all heard 2,000 gold for a 4-person party. Then when we got up, we told him all that, and we were like, well, he promised us the money he was supposed to be given, and then the DM was like, well, no, he didn't. That's not what happened. That's not how that worked. And so we were all frustrated there. Like, okay, fine, whatever. So he gave us, I think, 30 gold each.
Something like that.
And we went on our merry way. It's important to note that the DM had been talking a lot of mad shit at work to someone else who also plays D&D, and telling him all the things that we did when we messed up. Now, we were first-time players, so obviously we make mistakes. Mistakes happen. It's fine, right? Well, it is fine until you're being laughed at and told you're an idiot, and why would you ever do that? You guys are stupid. Well, I mean,
all the time. Plus, I don't work with them, so it's basically them talking behind my back.
Yeah, so there was a personal issue there. There was a couple of other, there's an adventure or two that we're missing that I can't quite remember. We go take the night off, heal up, everything like that, and we come back the next day. Now, when we're leaving, the captain, the guard, or whoever it was that gave us this mission, he pulls out a map and hands it to the senior soldier, the
senior Carmine brother.
Carmine brother. And it's a map of the town, the city that we're going to. Our druid,
who was stuck in the what was it, trailer type carriage,
whatever, this giant ass carriage.
Yeah, with this older Carmine brother. I tried to convince him to let me see the map. All right, I had points in Scribe Scroll. I was just going to copy it down. That way, both groups had a map. Something were to happen, and we get split up.
I thought
that was a decent idea. He refused to let anyone else but himself hold it, touch it, see it, anything.
And with the real life stressors that were occurring, we were all looking at each other like, well, hang on now, why won't he let anyone even see the map? And he's like, all right, DM to players here, he's really protective of this map. He's not going to let it out of his sight. He takes it as his responsibility. He's not going to let it go. We're like, all right, fine. If you're going to be like that about it, okay. We get to the city. We get out of the carriages.
Step out of the carriages. We're kind of looking around
for like a minute, and then a bell rings.
Starts ringing right next to us,
and it draws inevitably the zombies.
We get ambushed. We take cover at the first place that we can, which so happens to be, you guessed it, a tavern. So we barricade the door. We're missing someone. And it is the youngest Carmine brother,
Benjamin.
Long story short, he gets eaten alive. Yeah, I understand. The Carmine brothers are now freaked out. The oldest one is still kind of composed. So I go and talk to him. All right, dude, we really need to see this map. We need to know how to plan and get about this. He gave the map away to the youngest brother, who is now lying dead, getting eaten by zombies.
So that we proceed to riot again and go, well, hang on, wait a minute. Told us.
Yeah, that's when every playing the game stopped for a good hour and a half to 2 hours. That we could argue with the DM.
But obviously there's nothing we could do at that point. He was being rather stubborn about it. The real reason was he didn't ever make the map, so he didn't want to give us a map that he never drew up. Lazy. That's what that was. It was lazy. Quick tip for you guys who are having your own groups. If it ever becomes a real life issue, stop playing. Alright, anyway.
So we're in this tavern. our rogue goes up to the roof to kind of scout some shit out, you know, and kind of look around. We're all down in the tavern, just kind of chilling and everything like that. These zombies start piling through the door, making us retreat. So I'm like, all right, we have a guy up on the roof that has no idea this is going on. I'm gonna go warn him. Basically splitting up the party. Me and the rogue, and everybody else piling down into the basement. And then this is where basically the DM stops and is like, all right, now we're gonna go into 2 different groups. You know, I'm gonna do the biggest group that's going to take forever instead of the small group that I can do in like maybe half an hour.
We're down in the wine cellar and we're looking around because we're trapped now. We have nowhere else to go. The zombies are up there. They're outnumber us too much. And we start looking around and we're failing spot checks and search checks like left and right. Finally, someone gets high enough, or the DM finds it in his heart to be merciful this time. And we find a tunnel behind a wine rack that leads, in the end, all the way to
The church.
the church. We're in the church. There's a whole bunch of weak, injured, old, and young.
Yep.
I'm asking these people if they're willing to help us just get to where we need to go. Try to find information out. And again, it's just like pulling teeth. No one wants to help. I'm like, how are they still alive? They've not been going and getting supplies or anything like that out in there. They're like, oh, they scavenged. Okay, then why the hell are they not going to help us? Like, and then finally he's like, fine. So a little kid, we named him Tiny Tim because he's a little kid. That's just the voice we gave him and everything.
Yeah.
He ended up telling us how to get there and leading us across rooftop to rooftop to get to back to where we could see the carriages. So once we see the carriages, we find a house that we had to go and clear. So we go in, and I hear a woman crying, and I go to investigate.
Yeah,
I then have my sling out, and I rolled to attack with my sling. I got a triple critical on this creature. That means I rolled 3 different
consecutive
natural 20s in a row,
and then
confirmed the 3rd to confirm a triple crit. Now I was freaking out. My character was just impassive and did this and killed it in 1 hit. The rock flew from my sling in through the skull of the zombie, hit the wall behind it, and flew back into my palm. Me, Skulbane here, freaking the fuck out. Just ecstatic. I stand up, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, and then I stop, and I put my hands on my chest, and I have the quote here because I didn't want to lose it. I say, my nipples are hard. I was so excited about this triple crit that my nipples became hard as diamonds, and it was fantastic.
Fully erect nipples.
Just the most nipply nipples that I've ever nippled. Good. We clear it and we get down to where the carriages are, and I begin to look through Benjamin's corpse for the map, because at this point it's a point of sticking it to the man, and I want to see this fucking shred of map. But he says no, it's been destroyed by the attack. So
And was eaten.
Finally, he decides to let the other group begin their journey. So he gets the attention.
So back onto the roof with the rogue, we decide to use his grapple and his rope. And at first, the DM is like, all right, so you throw the grapple over. I was like, yes, we do. All right, roll to throw. We make the roll just fine, you know. And he's like, okay, now you have a grapple over there. Now what? I was like, all right, so we're gonna find somewhere else to tie the other end of the rope off. He's like, well, the rope wasn't tied to the grapple, and this was a whole nother thing, which we had never untied it from the grapple from when the tower incident was. So he's arguing us with that. Well, for once, the players won, and he was like, all right, fine, whatever. So we tie the other end of the rope off onto the chimney and take turns climbing across. Once we hop up on there, we go down into the building, and then just kind of wait out. Me and the rogue look out the windows and see the other group. So me and the rogue come out of the warehouse and toward the carriages. And then the DM then is like, I was merciful, and this is how I brought you guys back together.
So at this point, we're all done. We're all done because it's late. we're frustrated. The events of the day have just worn us out. We're like, you know what? We're done. And we didn't mean done. We meant like we're finished with this campaign. So yeah, and there I believe ends our prologue for that. Skulbane
and Riddler
from Nerds Anonymous.